Hey folks, today is Friday, September 25th. The time is 8 p.m. and the temperature is around 19 degrees Celsius. I'm currently walking west on Eglinton Avenue, and I'm just west of Eglinton West subway station, and the bus bays in the subway station are currently closed. So these temporary bus stops have been set up on Eglinton. These people would normally be waiting in the station itself to board. The station is currently under construction as it's being converted into an LRT and subway station. They're currently doing some extensive renovations that involved taking out the current bus bays. This walk through an area known as Little Jamaica should be a little under 4 kilometers or so. Little Jamaica runs from approximately where this walk started at Eglinton West Station, which is to the west of Allen Road, over to Keele Street. It'll be nice once this noisy cement mixer gets out of the way. And Eglinton West Station will be renamed to Cedarvale Station once the LRT line opens, which should be in 2022. It was supposed to open in 2021, but like most projects of that nature, it has been subject to some fairly extensive delays. And this area was first settled as Little Jamaica back in the early 60s. Oh, it looks like a car almost hit that guy. And throughout the 70s and 80s, over 100,000 Jamaicans had immigrated to Canada, many of whom landed in this area. There was also a large number of West Indian and Caribbean immigrants to this area. Although sadly it is not formally recognized by the city as Little Jamaica. So it's a bit like Little Manila, which I covered earlier in the week. This is one of the few acknowledgements by the city of this area's status as a Jamaican enclave. This part is known as Reggae Lane. And that laneway was named by the city in 2015, and this mural was added at the same time. Apparently one of those characters is Bob Marley.
Javon, go! The car's open.
Of course, the Jamaican cuisine is one of the highlights of the area. There's no shortage of jerk chicken in the area.
In high school, they teach other religions too.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Oh, I have to get my phone.
This place these people are lined up for seems to be particularly popular. And I'm on this side of the street as there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of life happening on the north side of Eglinton.
What's up?
I'm watching him in the red shirt. I just.
This place, Randy's Takeout, is one of the longest serving businesses in the area. It's been here for around 40 years. And this is the intersection of Oakwood Avenue in Eglinton, which is often considered to be the heart of Little Jamaica. Across the street, they're still constructing Oakwood Station, which will be one of 5 LRT stations that run through this area. And unfortunately, for the last 6 to 7 years or so, much of this area has looked just like this. And that is due to the construction of the LRT line. Construction itself started in 2011, and a few years after that, they started tunneling right around Keele Street, heading west. And that's had quite a negative impact on a lot of these businesses. I'm not even sure if this is the correct way. Nope, just leads into this parking garage. You can see how this kind of sucks the life right out of a neighborhood. A lot of the store owners have complained that their business has significantly been reduced since construction of the LRT. And I'm sure the coronavirus situation hasn't helped at all. I think I'll cross over to the north side for the next few blocks or so. It's been said that the city hasn't done much to help these businesses out throughout their construction. There's been some concessions made, such as cheaper access to the Green Pea parking lots. But this is one of the few areas where customers can actually come and park. So there's been quite a reduction in people that would drive into the area, as well as pedestrian activity, due to the fact that much of Eglinton was sort of boarded up with limited or difficult access to the storefronts. And the big fear is once the LRT is open, property values are going to increase, as well as intensified developments. So the further gentrification of this area will drive many of the lower income residents away, and the small businesses that sort of make up the heart of this community. Property taxes are rumored to be about to skyrocket in this neighborhood. And I have heard about this place. There's what looks like a library. And I read that this area does have a very deep history in the reggae community. Which is what Reggae Lane was named after, where I passed by earlier. Apparently outside of Kingston, Jamaica, no other area in the world contributed to the reggae scene as much as this neighborhood. And apparently this area was frequented quite regularly by such famous icons as Bob Marley and Jimmy Cliff whenever they were in town. I do have to plead some degree of ignorance, as my knowledge of that genre of music and culture is quite limited. And you can see what a disaster this construction has been on this area.
está en la casa, a ver si puede ir.
And it is like this on the other side of the street as well. If I'm not mistaken, this should be Dufferin Street I'm approaching, which is a major north to south street. So for such a major intersection in what should be a vibrant neighborhood, there's really not a heck of a lot going on. And if you can recall earlier in the walk, where I initially passed through, there was a lot of street life, and the businesses seem to be doing fairly well. So that just kind of goes to show what a detriment all this construction is to the businesses, and what an inconvenience it is to the residents as well. It's hard to believe this was supposed to open next year. Fat chance of that happening.
Makan castaña.
That pizza smelled pretty good. And there's a Popeyes. I'm tempted to jump into there and get one of their new chicken sandwiches. Those are Champions off-track betting. And I've only ever recorded this part of town once in a prior video. That was earlier in the year. That was during the daytime. And apparently this is one of the biggest Jamaican enclaves in the entire world. Although there is, of course, that fear that this area is starting to disappear and lose its character. It'll be interesting to come back once the LRT is opened and just see what impact there's been on these businesses. And if it's really started to gentrify and we start to see condo developments proposed throughout the line, which is what I suspect will happen. Not that I'm opposed to public transit infrastructure. It would be nice for the city to formally recognize this area. I believe the neighborhood I'm in now is officially called Fairbank. I might be wrong on that. And earlier on in the walk, that would have been Oakwood Vaughan. And the Yummy Tummy seems to be doing a pretty good business. And as of tomorrow, the last call will be 11 p.m. and those bars will have to close up at 12 a.m. The city's implemented, or I guess the province of Ontario is actually the one who's implementing it, but further restrictions. So they're starting to roll back on some of the stage 3 measures. This sushi restaurant on the corner seems to be quite popular. And for the next few blocks or so, if memory serves me correct, I think this neighborhood will be a little on the quiet side. But things should pick up again in terms of retail activity. Some really old residential properties right on Eglinton Avenue. You don't see that too much on a major street like this in the city. And the lighting around here isn't too good either. There's a cemetery on the south side of the street. Maybe since it's so dead in this area, I'll just start moving a little quicker. As for those measures where they'll be closing the bars early at 12, I'm not really sure that's going to do a whole lot. I guess they think it'll encourage people to stay in and not go out, but I think rather than tire themselves out and people go home at 2 and fall asleep, they're just gonna go out at 12 and want to stay out, which might lead to a lot of house parties, just people going over to condos, apartments, and homes. And it's getting cool enough that people are going to be indoors more than outdoors probably. So we seem to have stumbled across some life. If I'm not mistaken, this also seems to be quite a distance between LRT stations. I wonder if they'll be running a bus on the surface to accommodate those that don't want to walk the monster distances between stops. I'd almost assume they would have to do that. So this is Caledonia. You could take this south, and at St. Clair Avenue West, you could turn left into the Corso Italia area, or you could turn right and head into the Stockyards neighborhood, which is sort of on the northern part of the junction. John's Place / Pub. You think they could have put a little more thought into that name? And this looks like the 4th LRT station on this trip, the first being Cedarvale, currently known as Eglinton West, which I think is kind of a stupid move, renaming that. You have St. Clair West and Finch West and Shepherd West, and you're going to rename Eglinton West to something that people don't really know outside of the immediate neighborhood. That looks like an old KFC in there. Well done, City of Toronto, on this sketchy pseudo sidewalk I'm now on. This part of the LRT line will be entirely underground. This will be Caledonia Station. Not quite at Caledonia Road. Close enough, I guess. So the first station where I started just in front would be Cedarvale, and then there was Oakwood. Then I think at Dufferin Road will be Fairbank. And then this one, and then at Keele Street will be Keelsdale. So believe it or not, this is still the area unofficially considered as Little Jamaica. Although you might struggle to see that at street level in terms of the retail presence. It definitely seems to have been mostly the area around where we started off. There's a look at where the station will be in there. Let's cross over to the other side. I've got 5 seconds before this bus runs me over anyways. I'll be hopping on one of these buses to come back at some point. I'll just take that all the way to the intersection of Yonge and Eglinton. And in behind this station is Westdale Mall, which I can't really see from here. I kind of figured walking along Eglinton at night would be kind of neat and there would be better lighting than this. So I do apologize for that. Even though I live on Eglinton, as I mentioned, I seldom get out this way. It's certainly rapidly becoming more and more suburban in nature as I continue. There's a Canadian Tire in behind that parking lot. And what looks like a combination of high-rise apartments and condos. One can only imagine how the LRT will eventually transform this neighborhood. And as long as I don't go past Keele Street, I will not have gone too far. Keele Street does run north to south across most of the city, but it does break up in the Junction neighborhood. It stops around the railroad tracks, why can't I say that? And then it resumes on the other side. And I think I see signs of life straight ahead. Looks like there's a number of businesses on the north side of the street, so I'm just going to cross over and try to gravitate towards where there are signs of life. It is only a little after 8:30, so it's not that late. But still, this neighborhood feels relatively dead. Looks like there's a Jamaican patty restaurant across the street with a crowd of people in front of it. Bar and grill. Maybe I picked the wrong side of the street to be on. I'd have to think at this point I'm almost at the end, as Keele Street should be approaching, or rather I'm approaching Keele Street. Somebody made a comment in one of my previous videos that if I was brave, I should try walking through Little Jamaica at night. Well, we've done that. And much like everywhere else I've been in Toronto, it's perfectly safe, at least by my account. I have a hard time believing this place is open. Looks like most of the underground tunneling is finished on this section. There's the Eglinton Grill. And it's a Dollar Tree, not a Dollarama. And it is open. Just wondering where the heck all the people are. And this looks to be Keele Station right here, if I'm not mistaken. Keelsdale. I guess that's the name of the neighborhood. There's your tax dollars at work. I will cross over and start to hunt for a bus to hop on. That'll take me eastbound back home. I don't think there's too much more to see. Look at that. Imagine having a store with that in front of it for years on end. So I guess the challenge now will be to actually find a bus stop. Go right of this sign. All right. We shall do that. Here's the world's hardest to reach shawarma restaurant. Triple pizza and chicken. Do I see people waiting for a bus? Temporary stop. All right, I think this is where we will finish up. Keele Street should be just off in that direction, if not right here, although it doesn't really look like much. Hey, look, the old bus stop. You could probably pick that right up and take it home, and no one will notice or care. I think I see a bus off in the distance. Put my mask on. I hope you enjoyed this interesting walk through Little Jamaica along Eglinton West in Toronto. And that's not a bus. That's just oh, it's a TTC Wheel-Trans vehicle. That's why it kind of looked like a bus. There's a bus way down there. Well, I hope you enjoyed this trip down Little Jamaica. Although I think the latter half of this walk was a bit misleading. Although apparently this is still Little Jamaica. If you're interested, there are links to my Patreon if you would like to support the channel in the description, as well as my Instagram account. And there's a PayPal donation link if you haven't subscribed. Please feel free to do so. And I'm just going to shut the camera off because the bus is still at least a few minutes away. So thanks again, and I'll catch you on the next one.